Hi there and welcome to another live event from Force 13 this afternoon, or this morning where you are in the US, of course. We're discussing the Tropical Storm Bill and its impending landfall in Texas. We're also going to be talking about Hurricane Carlos as well, and their effects on land. Of course, Bill is going to be the pressing issue, and that's probably what we're going to be dedicating most of our show to. So that's what we're looking at. My name is Nathan Foy. We're joined by several people this afternoon, or this morning, or wherever you are around the world, whatever time of day it is. Jean, first of all, joining us from Mauritius, a fellow tropical weather watcher. Hi, how are you? Excellent. I love his nice friendly wave. Daniel's also joining us from the less exotic Manchester.
Hello.
And we also have Jason joining us from, in my opinion, a more exotic Western Australia as well, showing us the radar imagery of what's going on with Bill at this present moment. I'm sure we'll be looking at many other forms of imagery too as the storm appears to make landfall. It doesn't look too far away now either, so we may well see the landfall during our 1-hour show here. So, Bill, the latest information on Tropical Storm Bill, then, it's, of course, the second storm for the Atlantic season so far. It's got winds of 60 miles per hour, and that's very recent. Reconnaissance aircraft has found Bill a little stronger as it moves closer to the coast of Texas, expected to bring heavy rain to the area, and possibly beyond Texas as well, because we have lots of warnings in effect in terms of flooding and all that. But first of all, tropical storm warnings. Let me show you my screen if I can load it here. Yes, here we are. Tropical storm warning in effect from Baffin Bay to High Island, Texas, meaning that tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within that warning area, of course. Winds of 40 miles per hour or higher we would expect in that region. And what's Jason showing us there? Oh yes, the recon flight. Is that still going on, actually? They found... what winds are we looking at there? So darker shades of red, which is actually 70... is it 70 miles per hour? Is it not so miles per hour? I can't see the actual bottom label there. But that's flight level winds anyway. But yeah, 60 miles per hour, the latest update from the National Hogan Center. The pressure's 997 millibars, moving northwest, and we expect the landfall at any time. We're also looking at the, if I can see John's screen there, did we have it up? The models, I think, showing the trajectory of the storm, where it's likely to go after landfall. And you can sort of see where they're expecting it to go as well, just by following all the flash flood watches that are in effect for large parts of the US at the moment. Texas, of course, large parts of it, eastern parts of Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, parts of Missouri, into Illinois as well, and beyond, really. And that's where we may see the storm going as time goes by. And Jason's also showing us the model runs there. Let me get some imagery up, because visible imagery isn't far away. But first of all, actually, let me talk about Carlos as well, because that is still a real threat. Hurricane Carlos is still a Category 1 storm with winds of 75 miles per hour. Its pressure, I think, what was it? I can't remember what it was now. 989 millibars. And warnings in effect, there are still plenty. Hurricane Watch in effect for Punta San Telmo to Playa Perula, Mexico, and tropical storm warning in effect for Punta San Telmo to Cabo Corrientes also. So that's what we're looking at there. No hurricane warnings anymore. That's been the case for some time. And so we have two storms really on either side of Mexico that are near land. So of course, Bill further north near Texas rather than actually the coast of Mexico. And this is the latest imagery from Jason's screen showing Carlos. and we've not seen its eye for a while. It's been a very, very compact system for some time, and I expect that will remain the case. I'm sure at least one of the models had that on its forecast a few days ago when it was much larger. And you can see John's screen there showing all the models as well there. Quite a split, really. But something really interesting to note there is that none of them actually predict a landfall anymore, except perhaps that GFNI, I'm not sure what that stands for, just about reaching the coast of the Baja California Peninsula, and TVCN just swiping it.
I've got some photos here of the storm approaching the Texas coast if you want me to show them.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure they're current photos?
Yeah,
they're obvious. I mean, I'll trust you. Go ahead.
They're from about. It says on the news article it was updated 16 minutes ago.
Right.
So I'll just show them anyway.
Yes, and we'll let you know. By the way, if anyone was watching who has questions or comments for us, please send them in, and we'll reply to them. I know it's an early show this afternoon. It's pretty early in the morning in the US, of course, 7 a.m. Central Time, which is where the storm is making landfall. We may well do another show later on this evening to reflect upon what's going on. Oh, is this current?
Yeah, I think it is.
So you can see that's along the coast there, waves rushing in and affecting the coastal areas, dark clouds. And of course, these are probably, well, these look to be overnight, if I'm not mistaken. It looks a bit bright to be 7 a.m. I don't know whether it was yesterday or today. Of course, the effects from what has become to be Bill have been prevalent for some time. But yeah. Excellent. So we'll keep you updated on any information that comes in during our show, whether the storm makes landfall during that time as well. Jason, show us what you're showing us. Now you can see what appears to be Bill perched over Oklahoma there with 1,000 and it's either 6 or 8. And we expect it to curve northwards after it makes landfall and then northeast eventually. Though I'm not sure how much will be left of it by the time it reaches states such as Missouri and Illinois and beyond. Let's try and get back to the latest radar and see if we can see anything in particular going on the radar imagery. Here's one. 7:10, so yeah, 1 minute ago. We can pretty much see the center of the storm. It's just off the coast there. I'm not sure exactly what area that is. Is it not far from Port O'Connor? I think that might be the case. Corpus Christi down towards the southwest, but most of the rainfall appears to be on the east and southeastern side of the storm, though there's some heavy rainfall by the looks of things going in towards Galveston and Houston as well. So it's going to be an interesting day over there, I'm sure. Daniel, anything to add?
Not really, no.
Oh.
It's currently just a tropical storm now, is it? Or is it?
No. Yeah, it's a tropical storm.
Oh, right.
It's always been a tropical storm. Winds of 60 miles per hour. The wind speed has gone up. Wind speed is 60 miles per hour. You might have been getting confused with Carlos.
Yeah.
Carlos is a hurricane. We have 2 storms active right now. Bill is the 34th storm to form around the world in 2015. It's a huge number already, you know.
It's going to it's going to stay a tropical storm, isn't it, until it dissipates?
Well, yes, it's making landfall, so there's pretty much no time left for it.
Yeah. They can still be quite destructive, though, can't they, tropical storms?
Right.
Yeah.
They can, and the biggest threat I expect will be the rainfall from this storm. Of course, the coastal flooding as well, which may occur, as we've seen on some images. But everywhere along the eastern side of Texas, the eastern half of Texas, under flash flood watches, and it's no secret that Texas has had a hell of a lot of rainfall, and is in some places already on the verge of reflooding. And of course, Bill is not going to help that problem at all, which is why I understand why Devon a few days ago likened it to Tropical Storm Allison, which stalled over the area back in 2001, the only tropical storm ever to be retired because of the problems it caused in Texas and Louisiana and beyond.
I always thought Texas was a dry place and there weren't many like showers there, any rainstorms.
Well,
I've been proven wrong.
I suppose sometimes it depends on the year. Sometimes they can have droughts. Sometimes it can be very wet, like this year. If anyone is from Texas watching, then please let us know what's going on, what your situation is locally, where you are, what the weather is right now, what your water situation has been in terms of whether you've seen any flooding this year or to what extent. And we'll keep you posted with any warnings. And oh, you're looking at my screen now. Here's the latest National Weather Service map showing the tropical storm warnings towards the south there, and if I'm not mistaken, they extend inland as well, which is something I should mention. What?
Nothing. I'm just looking at the Force 13 wiki and how inactive it is.
Yeah, you can see tropical storm warnings extending inland to some distance as well. They cover Houston, of course. Flood warnings in some areas as well. I'm not familiar with the area, so forgive me. But what appears to be a flood warning along a stretch near Victoria as well. But there you can see the radar showing all that heavy rain entering just east of Galveston by the looks of things. Some heavy showers going on there, and the actual center of the storm located towards the southwest, which may move very close, within a few miles of Victoria by the looks of things, if it continues on its northwest heading. And then we expect it will move towards the north, well to the west of Houston, and then continuing through Texas and then towards Oklahoma and beyond. So, Daniel.
Yeah.
What do you think of Bill?
I'm not sure. It's just. What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do I mean?
What do you mean? What do you think of it? Like, in what way?
I was just giving you an invitation to say something. That's all.
Well, it's going to be. I don't know, because I've seen a video of people preparing for it, so it could be catastrophic. It depends.
Not catastrophic.
No.
I think it could be significant.
Yeah.
You've seen those pictures of the of those waters along the coastline. Yeah. And flash flood warnings for most of the eastern half of Texas. Lots of problems possibly for some areas which have already seen flooding. What's Jason showing us? It's a map. An elevation map. And you can see why, I suppose. All that eastern half there at a fairly low elevation. Sort of gets higher when you go west of Dallas, Waco, Austin, San Antonio. Oh, there's another picture coming up. Population.
I have the current temperature for Houston, Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's currently 78 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, pretty warm.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Mm.
We can only hope to get to that temperature here in the UK. And actually,
Oh
it's pretty
no.
warm here. It is. It's still pretty warm. 21 degrees Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit right now.
I have enough trouble coping with it at this temperature. God knows
Yeah,
it'd be like at 78 degrees.
shocking. Shocking. Yeah, we had 79 3 days ago. But there you go.
All right.
Oh
Is that the
right,
hottest day of the year so far? That?
it is indeed.
Yeah, I remember that.
If you've just joined us, we're tracking Tropical Storm Bill. We're also looking at Carlos as well. And if you look at Jean's screen right now, you can actually see the comparison between the storms. And, you know, Bill is actually bigger, really, isn't it? Carlos has been tiny for ages,
Is it?
yet it's still a hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour. It's a really strange storm when you think of it, isn't it?
It's smaller than Nathan, isn't it? Or is it bigger?
I wasn't even small, thank you very much. That's a joke. Bill is the centre of Bill. The picture might be slightly misleading if you're looking at Jean's screen. Not Jean's fault, of course. Bill is probably displaced to the northwest of that big blob of cloud, and is about to make landfall. We expect, I expect, looking at the latest imagery, possibly during our show, but there's no real way to tell definitively. Jason showing us the imagery as well, showing how it's been blowing up a little bit recently. The wind speed, by the way, has gone up. If you've just joined us and still don't know, the wind speed has gone up from 50 to 60 miles per hour sustained. Its air pressure, I think, is still 997, but it might have changed. Yes, it's still 997, so 60 miles per hour winds, and of course, still more than anything, I reckon it will be a rain threat and a flooding threat for southeastern parts of Texas and possibly beyond when the storm makes landfall and moves inland, because we don't expect that it will go away immediately. If you're wondering about other storms, by the way, other storms that may form in future, we don't appear to have anything else on the radar, so that's probably good news. Just Bill and Carlos, the only storms active around the world right now. Bill, the 34th storm to form worldwide, and in my opinion, better than Carlos.
What category Carlos at the moment?
Carlos is a Category 1 hurricane right now.
Oh, right.
Just off the coast of Mexico. If your interests do lie with Carlos, then we are talking about that a little bit as well. Let me just remind you, hurricane watches are in effect for Punta Santelmo to Playa Perula in Mexico. Tropical storm warning in effect for Punta Santelmo to Cabo Corrientes. Here, with Bill, the warnings are in effect. Tropical storm warning in effect from Baffin Bay to High Island in Texas as well. Don't forget about the flash flood watches in effect for large parts, and some flood warnings here and there too. Obviously, consult your local products for more information, because there's probably too many for us to go through here. But the bulk of the storm is still offshore. I mean, we've certainly not seen the worst of Bill yet, and I expect that will happen throughout the day. Even though the center is just offshore, what appears to be the most intense parts of the storm are slightly to the southeast. That's a map from the Navy, but it's a few hours out of date now. The storm is much closer to the coast and is not too far from the first pink point on that screen that you were just looking at there. Jean has a wide shot of both storms and their projected paths and their past track as well. So again, looking at Jean's map here, Bill is sort of in between the first and the second forecasted dot there, getting close to the second. And that's the path where it's expected to be in 24 hours, somewhere inland, and then entering Oklahoma before 48 hours. Looking at Carlos down there as well, we now predict no landfall, but that may well change. Hurricane conditions, of course, still a possibility for the coast of Mexico. Hurricane watch is in effect, I just outlined earlier. Looking back at the latest radar on Jason's screen here, you can see the storm edging ever closer. Some little pockets of heavy rainfall occurring east of Houston, and more on the way. It will impact just east of Galveston by the looks of things. Galveston itself looks to be doing not too badly at the moment. Oh, here's a shear map as well. Hey, Jason's got them all up. And you can see the intensification is probably in part due to that low wind shear around the storm, which has pushed it to 60 miles per hour. I don't know if Jason has a water vapor image on there for us by any chance. That might help as well. To see what's going on, but you can see the wind shear map. Whilst we're looking at it, I suppose we can take a look at the rest of the Atlantic. You can see not looking too bad around Florida, the Bahamas. Storms wouldn't have too many complaints if they formed in that area, but we're not expecting that. Still high amounts of wind shear to the south. Devon likes to call it a perpetual graveyard. I don't think it will be like that forever. Here's the water vapor as well. Yeah, not looking too bad around Bill. A fairly moist environment, a small area of drier air, and certainly a dry air swathe to the east over just off the coast of Florida, Alabama, and Georgia and South Carolina beyond. And another large pocket of dry air out in the open Atlantic near the equator, and in the Caribbean, a smaller area there as well, but a lot of moisture over Central America right now.
When do you reckon we'll see the next Atlantic hurricane?
Well, we've not had one yet, have we?
I don't think so.
Did Anna become a hurricane? I don't think it did it? I'm losing track of what's what. Here's the East Pacific as well. You can see a huge area of dry air off to the northwest of Carlos, and I'm sure that will be affecting it as well. I don't know how that's holding on to hurricane status. It is a bizarre storm, tiny in terms of its intense thunderstorms.
Yeah, even tinier than Nathan.
Shut up, get lost for about 2 days. And here's the latest floater animation of Bill. And you can see how it's almost doubled in size, hasn't it? From start to finish in the last, 6 hours or something like that. It's ballooned. It's really flared up, and at the worst possible time, quite possibly, for those in Texas who may be seeing some significant flooding occurring from this storm, as if they haven't had enough already. Here's a shear map for the East Pacific as well. Shear is on Carlos's side for the time being, but I think dry air is going to be a real problem for it. Elsewhere, we don't expect any other tropical cyclones forming anytime soon. It's pretty quiet, really, isn't it, for June? The West Pacific, very quiet. We've not had any Indian Ocean activity. Oh, we had one storm, of course, Ashobar, which dissipated a few days ago. But I was thinking more about the Bay of Bengal. Sometimes you see activity there, but here's the radar once more. Another radar view. Sporadic red areas making landfall east of Galveston. One or two little bits in Louisiana as well. But what appears to be the worst parts of the storm still lie to the southeast of the center, though there is significant rainfall occurring on land near what we expect will be the landfall area 2. I'm not sure how well populated that landfall area actually is. I expect not very, in between Corpus Christi and Houston. And you can also see a band near San Angelo as well with a green rectangle around it. I think that's denoting either a flood warning or a flash flood warning or something like that going on there as well.
Do you expect Bill will produce any tornadoes or anything like that?
It's always a possibility with cyclones. I will check the severe weather reports in a moment.
Yeah.
See whether any of that has actually occurred. But there's the latest radar imagery. Yeah, let me take a look at these storm reports and see if anything's been going on. Not seeing anything yet. And there are no warnings of that nature in effect either. Just about the flooding mainly. And of course the tropical storm force winds, which will be 60 miles per hour upon landfall for that area within the warning zone. Anywhere within the warning zone could see winds of 40 miles per hour or higher. That includes Houston at the moment. When was the last storm that made landfall in Texas anyway? It must have been a while. Can't think of when it would have been. Oh dear, I'm like losing track of all my storms. Because it has been a while since we saw a landfall in Texas, I'm sure of it. I'll have to go and check now because that's going to gnaw at my mind. So, nothing in 2014, good. Nothing in 2013, that's what I thought. Nothing in 2012, so it is 2011 we have to go back to. And did Don even make it? I'm not even sure if Don made it to landfall or not, because there was very little left of it. So it might be Don, but if we don't count Don, then we're going back even further. I don't know if Hermine managed it in 2010 or whether it was actually in Mexico that it made landfall. I think it was Mexico actually. So we're going back even further than that. So this is 6 years now. So yeah, apart from Don, it would have been 2008, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was pretty close, Jason. So yes, we're tracking 2 storms at the moment. Tropical storm Bill. I forgot its name for a moment there. I had other storm names in my head. I almost wanted to call it Hurricane Don then. Been something. Tropical Storm Bill and Hurricane Carlos off the coast of Mexico. Let me remind you again of their intensities and the warnings that are in effect. First of all, Carlos, winds of 75 miles per hour, air pressure 989 millibars located, 115 miles south of Manzanillo. Hurricane watch in effect for Punta Santelmo to Playa Peru in Mexico. A tropical storm warning in effect for Punta Santelmo to Cabo Corrientes also. For Bill, reconnaissance aircraft found it stronger. Initially it was 50 miles per hour, they're now saying 60. 30 miles east-southeast of Port O'Connor, Texas. I expect it's closer than that now. Was 105 miles southwest of Galveston. 60 miles per hour, as I said. 997 millibars the air pressure. Tropical storm warning in effect for Baffin Bay, to High Island in Texas, which is a fairly large area of land as well, and tropical storm warnings. Daniel, cracking a smile. What's going on there?
Nothing.
Nothing. You sure?
No.
You're very sure?
I'm sure.
You're absolutely beyond sure?
Yeah, I'm completely and utterly sure.
Alright, fine. Jason, screen showing another version of what's going on. I expect that we'll be seeing visible imagery of the storm very soon as well, which will be rather interesting. I'll take a look for that right now, actually, and see if I can find anything. If you're watching us from Texas, please let us know what's going on. We may also be doing another show later on. Here's the latest visible image of Bill. Visible imagery has just arrived. Good morning. Good morning, Bill. And there it is, really flaring up. And as you can see, most of the cloudiness still remaining out at sea.
I've got a question.
Some of it just about making landfall. Daniel?
What's the fastest wind speed recorded in the UK? I can't have to. I've muted myself.
No, you've not.
I just did then. I muted my computer. I didn't mute myself on the Hangout.
I believe it was. Oh dear. Because I know during the remnants of Katia, we recorded really high wind speeds of around 147 miles per hour or something like that.
What year is that?
Gusto, 2011.
Oh right, yeah.
But I actually don't know.
Mm.
Do you?
No, that's why I asked.
I thought you were going to tell me.
No, you need to do your research, don't you?
To do yours.
I'll look it up. I'll tell everyone.
Yeah, please. Latest radar showing what Bill is doing right now. And whether it may be intensifying further or not. But again, you can see the rainfall moving through Houston at this time. A little bit for Galveston, by the looks of things. Port O'Connor is just about receiving the edge of the center of the storm. I'm not sure you could call it an eye wall. Too weak for that. And I'm not sure if it's just this radar or whether the western side of the storm is really bare. Hardly anything in Corpus Christi according to that radar, but I don't know whether that's actually the case or not.
I've found something about the strongest winds in the UK.
Oh yeah, tell us about it.
It says here the strongest ever winds in the UK have been recorded on mountains. The strongest ever gust was at 150.3 knots, which is 173 miles per hour. Recorded at, I think it's Cairngorm Summit.
Cairngorm, yes.
Yeah, on the 20th of March 1986.
Right.
However, some very strong gusts have been recorded at low levels too. These mostly along exposed coastal areas.
Very good.
Would you want me to read them all out, or there's 3 of them? Okay then. Yeah. Also, it says the windiest place in the UK is the Shetland area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the meantime, let's take a look at some models. The CMC, first of all, let's see what it says. I mean, Bill is pretty much a foregone conclusion. You look at that there, there's actually no sign of car loss at all on that model, even though it's a hurricane. It is so small, the models can't pick it up anymore. But you can see the track of Bill, and CMC is rather interesting actually. It sort of turns right rather abruptly over Oklahoma, and then into Arkansas, and then moves northwest, and then there's not much left of it as it gets picked up by that system further north. And then there's a few lows out in the East Pacific near 10 degrees north, but doesn't appear to be any tropical storms. So pretty quiet after that. ECMWF perhaps, let's see what they're saying. So yeah, continued northwest movement for a time for Bill, and then moving towards the north. Actually appears to be a bit deeper there near the northern part of Texas, and then into Oklahoma, and then beyond into Missouri, and then I expect Illinois and beyond there too. Elsewhere, nothing. GFDL, let's see what they say about Bill. So there we are, landfall pretty much where it will be, with winds of nearly 60 miles per hour, so I think they've got it nailed on there. But we're more interested in the track afterwards, and then you can see it moving towards the northern part of Texas into Oklahoma once more, and it turns to the right, crossing just about into Arkansas, then, oh no, curving back towards the southeast, doesn't quite enter Missouri completely, and then continues Tennessee, Kentucky, and beyond. And eventually comes out near the Delmarva Peninsula, which is rather interesting. Obviously won't turn tropical again after that. GFS model, let's see what that says. A bit more of a westward track to begin with, look at that. And then off to the north, and then again turning east or east-northeast into Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and then it's probably untraceable after that. Elsewhere, no other storms forming. HWRF model on Bill, usually a more aggressive model, and there it is, actually not as aggressive as the GFDL, which is very rare. About 51 miles per hour landfall, it's more than that, and then moving north into Oklahoma and beyond yet again. So pretty consistent sort of with where they're going, and then you can just about see it with tropical storm force winds as it leaves the New England area, though it won't be a tropical storm by then, it will be post-tropical quite clearly, and then it will move towards, I expect, Nova Scotia. No other storms predicted elsewhere on those models. Finally, the NavGem. Again, similar path on that, and elsewhere we have no development. So that's the comprehensive look at the models, and there we are. Jean also showing us what a lot of the models are saying about Carlos. And you can see here some of them even turning it west, which would be interesting. We're not expecting that. The majority of models predicting a gradual turn towards the northwest and speedy dissipation in the next 4 days, 3 to 4 days. You watched 13 live. Sorry, Daniel.
When does this? How long is this live stream going on for?
We're going on till the end of this hour.
All right, yeah.
Talking about the latest with Bill, and seeing whether it makes landfall during our show. Possible.
Yeah.
It's getting awfully close. You can see here on the radar, center of the storm. I mean, goodness, it's only a matter of miles away now.
Is this real time or is it pre-recorded?
Is what?
This radar imagery.
Well, you can see the timestamp at the bottom right there. The current time.
I can't see it because the things are obstructing it. The hangout thing.
The latest frame, the end frame there is at 7:40 a.m.
All
Central
right.
Time. It's 7:42 currently, so it's only 2 minutes old. So it is effectively real time.
Yeah. That's useful.
Indeed. No threats from tornadoes or anything of that regard yet, as far as we know. No severe weather reports yet. Just expect there'll be lots of heavy rainfall and flooding rains. Probably still go, despite the up in intensity to 60 miles per hour, that will probably still be the main problem for southeastern Texas. But I'm still intrigued to know whether the western side of the storm is producing much rain or not. Don't know whether Jason would know that, but Jason's going to be leaving us now, so thanks for joining us, Jason, and thank you for your screen sharing coverage.
Goodbye, Jason.
I'm sure we'll see him again soon. Jason joining us from Western Australia, which have had their share of storms in the past few years. We're still joined by Daniel, who has not experienced a storm in his life, me, who has not experienced a storm in his life, and John, who surely has, living in Mauritius.
Does a thunderstorm count?
No.
Oh.
Sure doesn't.
Yeah.
Any comments for us, please send them in on the YouTube page, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have on the current system, whether it be Bill, Carlos, or something else. But there we are. Flash flood watches in effect for large parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Illinois. And of course, coastal flooding will be possibly a serious issue as well. We've already seen 1 or 2 pictures, haven't we? And of course, the tropical storm warning cannot be underestimated either. Even though we do expect worse from the rainfall, it is still a 60-mile-per-hour storm. Can still cause damage. And the second storm to make landfall as well. Both the storms in the Atlantic hurricane season so far making landfall, none of them reaching hurricane status. I wonder what we will see in the rest of this year. But this is Bill. And people who are wondering whether the Atlantic hurricane season is going to be really, really quiet, well, good news. With the formation of Bill, that means that it will no longer be the quietest season on record. That's one certainty now. Let me reiterate what the warnings are in effect right now. For Hurricane Carlos, we have warnings in Hurricane Watch in effect from Punta Santelmo to Playa Perilla in Mexico, and Tropical Storm warning in effect for Punta Santelmo to Cabo Calientes in Mexico. Also, let me show you a map of that for those who may be unfamiliar with that area. There we are, showing the warning areas and the track map as well for Carlos. No longer expecting a landfall, and we're expecting gradual weakening over the next 3 or 4 days. Bill, warnings in effect, tropical storm warning in effect for Baffin Bay to High Island, Texas. Well, let's go back to the radar so we can show you what the latest information is, or what the latest situation is with the storm. Drawing ever closer, and we expect landfall in a matter of maybe an hour or 2. We're probably going to go off air in a few minutes, but Force 13, as always, will be keeping you up to date throughout the day on social media. Follow Force 13 on Facebook, search Force 13 in text, at Force 13 on Twitter, and you can also join the crew, join the team on Skype by adding Fool13, FOOL13, the numbers, to add me on Skype, and you can chat with fellow Storm trackers in our dedicated Skype group.
Yeah, along with other things as well. And
now.
Should I mention the wiki? Even though I don't think anyone will
care.
Yeah, you can visit the Force 13 wiki at force-13.wikia.com and maybe edit a page or two, and at least get something on there because it's a bit bare at the moment. So.
By the way, I'm taking no part in that.
As you mention every time.
Well, I have to.
Yeah.
I really do.
Try and refrain from posting anything that might be considered offensive. Now they're all going to do it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are now. Daniel.
Oh well.
Oh, here's another visible image. There you are. So you can see the storm. Still, the bulk of the heavy thunderstorms, rain showers, still staying offshore, but a few things moving inland now. The center of the storm is actually towards the northwest of the big areas of cloud, but they remain to the south. So that leads me to believe that for Texas, the worst is yet to come. Well, for everywhere, the worst is yet to come. But I think that's going to be the end of our show now, because I think we've covered all bases, and I don't think there's really anything else to discuss without going over old ground. Daniel, do you have anything you want to say?
Not really, no.
Fair enough.
Just goodbye.
By any chance? Probably not. But thanks for joining us, Sean from Mauritius. I know I know it's not necessarily your speciality or your neck of the woods, but thanks ever so much, because you know, a lot of people here on Force 13, it doesn't matter where we live, we're very passionate about tracking storms and you know, keeping people in the loop and making sure everyone knows what's going on, and that's what we aim to do every time. But for myself, Nathan Foy, Daniel, and Sean, that will be all for now. We may be back again later on today with another live show, depending on what goes on with Bill and Carlos. But in the meantime, that's probably going to be us signing off for now. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye.